Welcome to part 2 of the Nutcracker Santa Claus on a basswood rolling pin. Today we're going to be finishing up the carving by putting in detail, and we'll be ready to move on. Welcome to the Grumpy Old Guy wood carving studio. My name is Harry. Let's get started. The next step is to start smoothing some of these down in, taking away some of this excess. This isn't a very deep carving, so it should go pretty quickly. It's just basically identifying the different elements and then carving a little bit away, and that's it. That's pretty much it. I've got a lot of the bottom parts of the different elements separated. Now I have to turn it upside down and work on some more from the other angle. Boy, sometimes that's a pain. We'll start here on the hat brim. Right now I'm using a number 3 sweep. I'm not sure how wide it is, but it's a little wider than I was using, so I'll try to use wider tools that'll fit. I could probably use a larger one, but because of the curve of the wood, it would just be a waste. I wouldn't be utilizing the whole width of the tool. Okay. And then just keep turning it. Not sure if I'm going to do that ball or not this time. When it comes to buying tools, I don't know if I've ever bought a set. Because looking at all the sets, you wind up with a lot of tools that you'll rarely ever use, or that other tools you can use in their place. So I've been collecting tools for, well, pretty much my whole life. That's why I've got so many tools to choose from. And like I said earlier in the video, I probably don't use most of them. I've got a few that become my favorites and become the easiest to use for me. So, but hey, they're there if I've got them, if I need them. One of my other hobbies is bird photography. Got a 400mm lens and a couple of DSLRs. Back in the 60s, when I was a kid growing up along the Mississippi River, I became fascinated with bald eagles. Back then, the population was rapidly declining because of the use of DDT. It would soften the eggs, and many of the eggs never hatched, or they broke. I guess over the years after they stopped using DDT, they started coming back. When I get the chance to go back to Iowa in the wintertime, there are just bald eagles everywhere. Well, living in northwest Oregon, we've also got a lot of eagles in the wintertime. We've got a couple of resident pairs that stay here all year round. And I've seen a tree that they like to hang out when I go over to the wetlands, but it's off the wetlands property, and I wasn't sure where this tree was. But just a week or so ago, somebody gave me a tip where the tree was. And sure enough, it was right off the side of the road. And I'm not telling anybody where it's at because I don't need a bunch of gawkers over there. And I think the pair that reside in that tree and that nest have at least one egg. I've seen one sitting on the nest while the other one goes off and fishes or hunts. So we need some dry, it's raining right now. We need some clear weather, and I'll go over and snap a few pics. I won't be able to see inside the nest because I'll be down below it, but at least I can watch the progress. If there are chicks in the nest, then after a while they'll be popping up on top of the nest, and we'll be able to get some pics of them. At this stage of the game, I'm just roughing out. I'm not very clean at when I'm roughing out. There'll be plenty of time later on. We still got a lot of roughing out to do before we start cleaning it up and making it look pretty. And right now I'm just looking for shape. Of course, you don't want to give yourself too much to clean up. Try not to take out too much that you don't want taken out. Gone around and defined some of the edges, or most of the edges, for all of the parts. So now I'm going to go and start working on the face, and that will be my reference point for depth on everything else. I can't really start working on the hat, because if I do, then I'll have to, when I go to work on the face, then the hat will be out too far, so I'll have to take it back in. So the face is usually always my point of reference. And I'll start by taking the eye area down, because the nose is going to be higher than the eye. And this is going to be a fairly flat area anyway. So remember to take down both sides by the same amount. Got some depth on his nose. I think that's about where I want it to be. I've taken the eye area down. Now I'm going to round out the cheeks, shape the nose a little bit more, and then we'll work on the mustache. I think it'll be easier if I'll hold it in my lap for this part, because I'll be switching it back and forth in direction. And take this, get some more depth on these cheeks. Underneath the mustache or nose. Alongside the nose, get some more depth in there. Separation between the cheeks and the nose. Okay. Take down this cheek a little bit. And I'll be back when I've got this carved down. First I'll take the mustache down. All right, got some work done on the mustache. At this point, I'm not trying to put it in a finished depth or finished shape. I'm just trying to give myself some reference so that when I start working on these other elements, then I'll know how deep to go. After I get everything carved to the depth that I want it to be, then I'll start doing the final shaping and detailing. I think the next step is to take these teeth back lower than the beard. I want the beard to be higher than the teeth. So we're going to take a V tool and just take on here so I can get some depth between the teeth and the the beard. Take it across grain. And then I'll just work within here and then lower it down a bit. Teeth are back, moved back now. The next thing will be to get some depth around the edge of the beard and then curve it down a little bit throughout here, and then move the belt down a little bit so it looks like it's going underneath. I've got pretty much most of the depth I need for the trim on the bottom of the coat and the belt, and I think the beard. I think the arms are deep enough now. I think the next step will be to start working on his pants, the tops of his boots, and then we'll get into his hat. Let's see. Let's go for the hat. Start shaping this guy down. I went ahead and decided to put in the ball on the end of the cap there. Tomorrow I'll work on his pants and shoes. I think that's it for today. My hands have had enough. The reason I keep switching back and forth between palm tools and mallet tools and the pocket knife is just to show you that you can do these projects with any tools you've got. You don't have to go out and spend a fortune on an expensive set of tools. And I think I've mentioned before that sets are probably a waste of money because you're going to wind up with tools that you'll never use. Go out and buy tools as you need them. Don't buy the whole set. Alright, time for a little sharpening. The tools I want to use are pretty dull, so just using a whetstone, some honing oil. Looks backwards in the camera. Alright, so I'm sharpening a U-shaped tool. It's a number 7 gouge U-shaped tool. Every carver has his own way of sharpening. This is mine. So I'm basically just going back and forth, holding it at the bevel angle. I'm just going back and forth. I don't know if I mentioned before, but when you carve or when you sharpen tools, you're going to have a little wire bead on the end. So I like to take my strop, just work it back and forth, or go the opposite direction, drag it away from the cutting tip. Do both sides. feel that wire beads slowly go away. Still got some there. This helps polish it too, which helps sharpen it. So there's find the right shape on this thing for this tool. So now the true test is to see how clean it cuts. Oh yeah, that's better. But still needs some more sharpening. So I'll go ahead and finish sharpening this and then come back. At a point now where I can start putting in more detail, or actually just start putting in detail. I've got a lot of the major shaping done. So coming up next, I'll be putting in some beard detail, hat, and cuffs and all that stuff. So I'm going to start putting some texture into his hat in the brim here. Just taking another number 9. It's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 millimeters wide. Doesn't really matter. I just like the size of it. And I'm just going to go and scoop out little dimples randomly. Don't cause a pattern. If you make a pattern, people's eyes will be attracted to it and they won't move on. They'll keep looking at the pattern. So I just randomly scoop out some little divots here. And just keep doing that around the hat, and then you can go back over and fill in other little areas that seem to need one. There's the detail in the hat. You don't have to go overboard and fill every centimeter or millimeter of space with detail. Just a little texture, help break up the monotony of unfinished wood. Alright, so I've got the brim of the hat pretty much done. I'm not going to do much more of that. I've got the ball. I've done the mustache and I've started putting in the beard. So I'll continue working on the beard, and then we might be just about ready to start the final cleanup phase just before painting. Got the beard done. Now all I have to do is the hair in the same way. And it'll be time for final cleanup. Working on the hair right now. I'm using a number 9 and then following up with a number 11. And that's the same thing I did with the mustache and the beard. Now you can see they've got these 2 long ones here. do a crossover, and then like here, this, do a crossover. That way we get more of a, let's see, we'll cross over here. And then let's see how it breaks it up. And then you can hit these flat spots with number 11. Make them smaller here. That's basically all you do. And there it is. Got all the detail done. The hat, little pom-pom, the hair, the beard, and mustache. Got coat trim and cuffs, boots. So next step will be part 3. I'll be painting this guy. Thanks again for dropping into the Grumpy Old Guy Woodcarving Studio. Please like and subscribe. Now get off my lawn.